A wave of terror swept across the nation last night. A peaceful rally transformed into a scene of panic and fear. Former President Donald Trump was addressing a crowd of supporters in Pennsylvania when the unthinkable occurred. Gunshots rang out, piercing the air and sending shockwaves through the crowd.
The peaceful gathering erupted in chaos as people scrambled for safety, desperate to escape the unseen danger.
In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, all eyes turned to the former president. Remarkably, Trump emerged unharmed. The bullet, fired from a distance, had narrowly missed its target. Visibly shaken, Trump addressed the nation just hours later. He urged for calm and unity, emphasizing the need for peace during this turbulent time. His message resonated with many, a call for restraint in the face of violence.
The FBI has launched a full-scale investigation into the shooting. The incident is being treated as an attempted assassination of a former president, a grave offense with far-reaching implications. Agents are working tirelessly, following every lead, determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. The investigation is complex, a puzzle with countless pieces, but the FBI remains resolute in its pursuit of the truth.
The alleged shooter has been identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, a resident of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Little is known about Crooks, a young man who until last night was an enigma to the world. Investigators are delving into his past, searching for any clues that might explain his actions. What led this young man down such a dark path? The answer, for now, remains elusive.
The quiet community of Bethel Park is reeling in the wake of the shooting. Once a serene and peaceful neighborhood, Bethel Park is now grappling with the aftermath of an event that has shattered its tranquility. The streets, usually filled with the sounds of children playing and neighbors chatting, are now eerily silent, as if the very air is heavy with sorrow and disbelief. The residents, who once took pride in their close-knit community, now find themselves questioning the safety and security they once took for granted. Neighbors describe Crooks as a quiet and unassuming young man, blending seamlessly into the background of their lives. He was the kind of person who would nod politely in passing, perhaps exchange a few words about the weather, but never drew much attention to himself. To many, he was just another face in the crowd, someone who seemed to fit perfectly into the fabric of their suburban existence. His demeanor was calm, his actions unremarkable, making the recent events all the more shocking and incomprehensible.
They struggled to reconcile the image of the alleged shooter with the young man they thought they knew. The contrast between the person they interacted with daily and the one now accused of such a heinous act is stark and jarring. It's as if they are looking at two entirely different people, and the cognitive dissonance is palpable. Conversations among neighbors are filled with phrases like, "I can't believe it," and "there must be some mistake," as they try to make sense of the senseless. The shooting has cast a pall over their community, a stark reminder that darkness can lurk even in the most unexpected of places. The sense of security that once enveloped Bethel Park has been replaced by a pervasive unease. Parents hold their children a little tighter, and doors that were once left unlocked are now secured with multiple locks. The community gatherings that were once a staple of Bethel Park life are now tinged with a somber tone, as residents come together not just to socialize, but to seek solace and understanding in each other's company. The road to healing will be long and arduous, but the resilience of the Bethel Park community shines through as they begin to navigate this new, uncertain reality.
As the investigation unfolds, details remain scarce. The FBI is meticulously piecing together the events leading up to the shooting, searching for a motive behind this heinous act. Did Crooks act alone, or were there others who played a role in this plot? Was the shooting politically motivated, a desperate act fueled by extremism? These are the questions that haunt investigators, questions that demand answers.
The shooting at the Trump rally is a stark reminder of the violence that continues to plague our nation. It is a moment that forces us to pause and reflect on the state of our society, where such acts of brutality have become all too common. The faces of those gathered at the candlelight vigil tell a story of grief, loss, and a yearning for change. They stand united in their sorrow, hoping that their collective mourning will spark a movement towards peace and understanding. It is a chilling echo of past tragedies, a somber reflection of the deep divisions that threaten to tear us apart. Each incident of violence serves as a grim reminder of the unresolved issues that fester beneath the surface of our communities. The memories of past tragedies linger, casting long shadows over our present and future. These events are not isolated, they are part of a larger, troubling pattern that we must address if we are to heal as a nation. The rally, intended as a platform for political expression, has instead become a symbol of the volatility that can erupt when tensions run high. In the aftermath of this event, we must confront the uncomfortable truth that violence can erupt anywhere, at any time, shattering lives and leaving behind a trail of devastation. The aftermath is a stark landscape of broken dreams and disrupted lives. Families are left to pick up the pieces, communities are left to rebuild, and the nation is left to ponder how to prevent such tragedies in the future. It is a call to action for all of us to engage in meaningful dialogue, to seek common ground, and to work towards a society where such acts of violence are no longer a part of our reality. The path to healing is long and arduous, but it begins with acknowledging the pain and taking steps to address the root causes of this violence. Only then can we hope to create a safer, more compassionate world for future generations.
The shooting has also raised serious concerns about security at political rallies. How could an armed individual get so close to a former president? What measures can be taken to prevent such incidents from happening again? These are questions that demand immediate attention, for the safety of our leaders and the preservation of our democracy depend on it.
The events of last night serve as a stark reminder of the profound consequences of our actions. Every choice we make, every word we speak, has the potential to ripple outwards, impacting the world around us. In this case, the consequences of one individual's actions have sent shockwaves across the nation, leaving behind a legacy of fear, uncertainty, and grief. As the nation grapples with the aftermath of this tragedy, we find ourselves in a moment of profound sorrow and contemplation. The weight of the events has cast a shadow over our collective consciousness, leaving us to ponder the fragility of life and the unpredictability of fate. A sense of collective grief and introspection has settled upon us, uniting us in our shared humanity. In these moments of mourning, we come together, not just as individuals, but as a community, bound by empathy and compassion. The faces of those around us reflect our own pain and our own hopes for healing. We are left to confront the darkness that resides within our society, the underlying issues that have led to such a devastating outcome. It is a time to question the roots of our anger and the sources of our hatred. We must ask ourselves how we can prevent such tragedies in the future, and what steps we can take to foster a more inclusive and understanding world. The hatred and anger that can fester and erupt with such devastating consequences are not born in a vacuum. They are the result of long-standing divisions and unresolved conflicts. As we witness the heated arguments and the palpable tension, we are reminded of the urgent need for dialogue and reconciliation. This is a time for reflection, a moment to pause and consider the path we have taken and the direction we wish to go. It is an opportunity to look inward, to examine our own beliefs and biases, and to understand how they shape our interactions with others. A time to examine our own hearts, to seek out the compassion and empathy that lie within us. In doing so, we can begin to heal the wounds that have been inflicted both on ourselves and on our society. It is through this introspection that we can find the strength to move forward, and to seek common ground with those who hold different views. In these discussions, we can bridge the divides that separate us, finding unity in our shared values and aspirations. By listening to one another with open hearts and minds, we can build a foundation of mutual respect and understanding, paving the way for a brighter and more harmonious future. In the wake of this tragedy, the path forward is clear. We must reject the politics of division and hatred, embracing instead the principles of unity and understanding. Let this be a turning point, a moment where we choose to bridge the divides that separate us and to build a more just and peaceful society for all.